Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekend Rental. This is episode 67. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. As always, my name is Ryan, and I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
And Nate.
What's going on, guys?
All right, if you like our content and you want to explore other amazing geeky-related content, whether it's podcasts, articles, and more, you can find all of that over at geekade.com. What's your geek? Let's dive right into our opening segment, Buy, Rent, Burn. If you're new to the show, what we do is we all pick a game individually for a given system. We'll all play these games, and then we'll share our thoughts as to which ones we would personally buy, rent, or burn. System this episode is going to be the Sega Genesis. Andy has selected Bonanza Bros. Nate has gone with Garfield, Caught in the Act, and I've selected Green Dog. So let's analyze these individually. Let's start the discussion back at Andy's pick, Bonanza Bros. We're going to read a description here real quick from GameFAQs. So description on this game: Robo and Mobo, the Bonanza Bros, are the clumsiest thieves around. They're in deep trouble now, and they need your help to avoid becoming jailbirds. Short and sweet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty accurate description. It's basically a stealth game.
Yeah.
A 16-bit stealth game, side-scrolling. And I don't know, I liked it quite a bit. Mainly because of the more strategy in it, I guess, maybe. With, waiting for the right time to pop out and shoot a guy. But there's a lot of other risk and reward in it as well. And basically all you're doing is going through all these maps. You have to go pretty much through the whole thing, stealing different parts while avoiding, guards and police and stuff like that. And then
SWAT troopers.
Yeah, and reach an exit. But I don't know, I liked it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was confusing it with another game that's got a similar name and also is like a 2-player race thing on the Genesis. So I was pleasantly surprised when I popped this one in, and immediately like that art style and like the pseudo 3D and like the foreground and background stands out on the Genesis. And it's a really cool and simple look. It also reminds me a lot of Keystone Capers with more imagination. Like I used to play that all the time on the 2600, except it looks like in the 2-player mode, you can actually like have someone, which maybe you could do in Keystone Capers too, play as the cop and try and bust the person who's the thief. I don't know. We obviously when we were playing these, we're solo, so I'm not sure what 2-player mode looks like, but yeah, I really kind of liked it. It's like, the Weeble people from Fisher Price got a game where they're petty thieves, and I don't know. It was cool. It's something that I think you'd have to sink more time into to really build the muscle memory for it, because that was the hardest part for me, was like remembering that the foreground and the background was there, and like the patience to wait. Like it's a game that requires you to slow down and think a little bit more than I probably wanted to in my initial playthrough. But yeah, really cool. Really stands out among the Genesis titles.
I thought this was pretty funny because especially the first level, the music is so happy, and then you're like running in and shooting police officers, and the music's just so chipper. I was like, I don't know if this is promoting good things.
Well, they get back up after you shoot them.
They do. It's just rubber bullets. It's perfectly normal. Yeah. It's fine. I love that. That foreground, background movement, but games like this, I have a hard time slowing down. I love just to speed through things. And so it was hard for me to take that time and jump to the background a little bit as a police officer was walking by. I just wanted to kick the door open and start shooting everybody right away, which didn't end well for me. But it is just a funny game, just the things that you're stealing as well. I think there was a stack of Sega Genesis games that you were stealing, which is just goofy and just very Sega. But I really enjoyed this one.
I also like the in-between missions thing. It was almost like a dumbed down GTA 5 like heist scenario where it's like two guys in a dark room like setting it up on a film on the wall, like planning it out. I don't know. That made me chuckle. Yeah. A lot of personality in a game with like characters that don't really themselves exude personality. It's They did a lot with a little.
Yeah, they're actually unlockable racers in Sega All Stars Racing.
Really?
Yeah, you can be
Transformed or the first one?
transformed, I think.
Okay.
It's really interesting they would get that type of recognition.
Yeah, that's a deep cut for sure. But that's kind of why I like that game, because so many deep cuts. But yeah, this thing is, I don't know, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
It's Metal Gear.
Yeah.
the kids version of Metal Gear.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Sneaking around.
It's not too far off. All right, let's move on to our next pick. I don't want to talk about it. We all know how I feel about Garfield, but here we go. Nate's pick, Garfield Caught in the Act. By a strange twist of fate, Garfield finds himself stuck in a late-night TV adventure. Take him through the comical classics where it's up to you to free him from the midnight movie Warp. Garfield stars in the best gaming experience around.
You nailed it.
Hope everybody picked up on the sarcasm there at the end.
There's no sarcasm on this end. This game was not picked because of your hatred towards Garfield. I just felt like we needed to try it. This wasn't like I bet you Ryan's. Okay, you're right. Anytime I see Garfield, I'm picking it just because I know you get worked up over it.
Well,
this
is
a
long run of games to pick from because they're still making them in 2020. Sadly.
Oh, then we got a ton of buy rent burns to go. I wish I could. I should probably look at each system that we do. Just go weeks and weeks with just Garfield for you. I think you'd appreciate that.
I don't know if I'd make it. I'd lose my sanity.
So this game is a classic Sega style game where it's a platformer adventure, side scrolling, and you do a little exploration here and there by killing enemies and dropping into pits and figuring out how to get out of the pits. And I thought that was really funny. What's his dog's name? Odie?
Odie?
Yeah. So when you fall into these pits, you have to pull Odie's tongue, but where the tongue is, it looks like you're yanking on something else that's dangling down.
I didn't even realize that was Odie's face until you said that.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be his tongue, but it's a little bit lower, if you know what I'm saying. And then you have to go to the other side and pull the tongue, and then the middle will rise up.
The platform will raise.
Yeah, platform will raise. It looks good. The game looks good. It plays okay. It's a little clunky. Garfield's a little clunky to maneuver, and I mean he doesn't really have much for weapons. He's throwing skulls, and is it a flame stick?
Or is it just claws? I couldn't tell. Is he just slashing?
Maybe. Yeah, I couldn't figure that out. But the enemy placements were a little annoying and frustrating, and they kind of pop up when they shouldn't really pop up, and stuff like that was a little bit annoying. But I still think it's pretty classic Sega look, classic Sega sound, and wasn't as bad as what Ryan's gonna say right now.
So I think my favorite part about this game was just the visuals, like especially that opening segment, like where you're in the TV and there's like that bad TV filter over the screen. Like that was really cool. But this is the type of game that is probably been localized and recast with like 7 different IPs across the world, because it's the laziest premise of any game, because you're basically just any character can get sucked into a late night TV. And then they're going to use every public domain ghoul, goblin, late night horror movie trope they can. But in this case, it just happens to be Garfield. But I would not be shocked if there are other versions of this game, or I mean, it just feels lazy as far as like the IP is concerned. But it looks good. I didn't find the pits that you fall into to be particularly great game design or super fun. Like, I don't know what's cool about walking 8 feet, jumping in a hole, pulling on a tongue, riding up a platform, and doing that 10 more times at the end of a level. They could have done that like once, maybe. But like Nate said, the enemy spawning is kind of annoying. The controls are fine enough. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I'm not going to shit all over this game because it's not a train wreck. It is.
Then what are you doing right now?
I'm complimenting it, kind of. As far as it's a lazy use of a story for a game and an IP, but like it's not inherently broken. It's a fine average platformer. I think they were really trying to kind of spoof on Ghosts and Goblins too, especially with that opening level, like the level design even.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. It was all fine, but
when you die, was it terrifying? Was it terrifying when the TV like swallows you up and shows teeth on the screen? And I was like, that's a little scary.
Cried for a little bit, but it wasn't too bad.
I think that's.
Did you guys beat Odie?
No, I didn't. I think you have to get light in there or something like that, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I beat Odie.
Good job.
Thanks.
I did not.
But why are you fighting your best friend?
They hate each other. They're frenemies.
Oh yeah, he kicks them off the table all the time.
Okay. I haven't watched Garfield in a long time.
I think that's the biggest bummer about this. Like you said, it's just like Garfieldian, just basic TV genres, and that's not enough to make you upset that you're playing a Garfield game, because there's not enough just Garfield in it.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe that's why I'm tolerating it. Yes.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Had there been John and lasagna at every turn and Nermal, I might have just lost it.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I thought the first level was essentially what the game was going to be like, where you have to traverse from one side to the other, kind of like a puzzler in a way, where you're platforming and then crawling across something. I thought that's how the whole game was going to be, and it was just going to progressively get difficult. But that quickly changed.
Yeah, well, I think you're going to take a lot of hits no matter what you do in this game, unless you're like very good at it. But yeah, I used to have this game as a kid. I don't remember too much beyond the first level, though. Is it like a black and white level after that, I think?
Yep.
Yeah. After that, yeah. I really couldn't get too far in this game, if I remember right.
Well, and the thing is like they don't really incentivize you to want to keep trying either. It's just kind of...
Graphics are good, though.
It's just, yeah, I mean, it looks outstanding.
Yeah.
I think that's its strongest suit, like its visual style. And like I said, that opening filter, I really appreciated that effect. It was cool. Well, Garfield. Let's talk about one more platformer here. My pick, Green Dog, or if you were a fan of, I can't remember the show now. GameSec, there we go. You'll know it as Green Dog, the beach surfer dude. The description on this one is Green Dog is one lucky surfer. He lost his board and unlucky surfer. Sorry, that's a key point. He lost his board and got stuck with a cursed necklace. Green Dog has to fight his way past a lot of crazed creatures and monsters to find the Aztec treasure, or he'll never get rid of the curse. So this is another platformer. You play as like a stoned out hippie surfer dude who throws frisbees at enemies and has really floaty platforming mechanics. You bounce your frisbee off poles and stuff, and hamburgers fly out. You can also pick up power-ups that do things. And then there's just a bunch of generic like lizards and piranhas and parakeets to populate the level. And I don't know, it's not really a cohesive game. It's like somebody threw up a bunch of different platformer elements all over a game, and they're like, let's throw a surfer guy in that. And you have Green Dog.
Yeah, this was a very strange game. It was enjoyable for a while, and it becomes the same over and over and over again. Small platforms, tons of red fish chewing your legs, which were very, very obnoxious. And I did find the weapon of choice was pretty entertaining, a frisbee. So that was really cool. Not realistic, though, especially when you throw something and it hits them. The frisbee should just drop instead of come right back to you. So it's more of a boomerang, but
also it's
beggars
highly
can't be choosers.
Coincidental that like the frisbee shape is the exact shape of like the Aztec runes to unlock secret doorways. Apparently,
right.
Apparently the frisbee was a big part of Mayan culture. Who knew?
Yeah, that's actually very, very true. It got really frustrating though. There was just so much happening, and the your weapon didn't really do a lot of damage, and their hitboxes were very small compared to the weapon that you had, and they would hit you no matter what, and that was very, very frustrating and annoying throughout the entire game. And him being a surfer is really confusing, especially when you drop in water and that's hurting you, and I'm like, he's a surfer, like he should be used to this. So I don't know, it was missing a few things for me.
Yeah, like you said, the frisbee is a cool aspect of it, but it just felt like every time you threw it, it like missed the enemy. And it would be like Mario and his fireball. Every time you used it, like 90% of the time, it just wouldn't hit the enemy. It's like it should be the other way around, where if you're making the right jump at the right time, you should pretty much be hitting that enemy almost every time. But it was like the opposite here. But overall, like, since meme games usually are known for being terrible games, I thought this game wasn't as bad as what, isn't in that class, I would say, as a very bad game.
Right. It felt a lot to me like an Amiga type game, just with Sega Genesis size sprites. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like these very big, ambitious platformers with kind of like the most mundane characters, weird references, and like nonsensical level design. It reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, it does all work for a game that has just a reputation for being a joke. It's playable. If I'd gotten this as a kid, I definitely want to put a lot of time into it. But now I think my 15 minutes were good.
The sound was definitely missing. The soundtrack was fine, but when it came to the enemies, that was weird. Like the frog didn't have like a frog noise whatsoever. And they had the capabilities of doing it back then. And it was just like a drum beat. And so every time it was supposed to ribbit, it was just like a drum. And so I don't know. It was very, very random in how they pieced it together. And there just didn't seem to be a ton of thought into it.
My favorite was just like the absurdly tiny dagger that just floated in midair until you walked up to that platform and then would fly at you.
Oh, yeah.
That did not fit into... I mean, none of the stuff really fits, but that especially made no sense in the context of this game.
Right.
I love the hovering frisbee power-up, though. It just hovers in
Yes.
front of you. That's great.
Yeah, I felt like a badass when I had that.
The umbrella hat's cool.
It took me a long time to realize that's because I was probably halfway through that first stage before I realized like I was accumulating these things at the top, and then I was like, well, how do I use that? And like I just finally randomly hit the button, and I was like, oh, I've been doing this all wrong. But yeah, it's an okay game about a surfer dude, I guess. I think it's time to do verdicts. Andy, which game are you going to buy, rent, and burn?
I think my buy is going to be Bonanza Brothers. I had a lot of fun with that game, and I like stealth games in general. I like Metal Gear a lot, and this is like a cartoony version of that on a more primitive system. So it was quite a surprise. I wonder what 2 players is, because obviously like it's very much built for that, since the second player is always on screen, no matter if you play first or just one player anyway.
I suppose there's the potential that you just take the other brother.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe it's co-op.
Right, which would be sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, there'd be a lot more tactics then if you were in the same house as 2 different people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, had a lot of fun with that game. I think my rent is going to be Green Dog. It was a tough choice between the other 2. I like Garfield graphics better, but as a platforming game, I think Green Dog was a little bit more straightforward and a little bit more fun. Whereas like you said, Garfield was fall in a pit, get out of the pit, fall in the pit, get out of the pit. And that's just not as enjoyable. So that's my burn.
Nate, how about you?
I'm not too different from Andy. I think Bonanza Bros was a clear buy for me. It had a lot of just playability, very fun. Just a game you typically don't see or play often. I would love to try this game 2-player just to see what that's like. So definitely enjoyed it. And I think I'm going to have to rent Green Dog as well. Because Garfield, it just didn't play well. Ryan, you hit a whole bunch of points there where you go a few feet and then you drop into a pit, get out, fall into a few feet. And that got frustrating and old really, really fast. And it kind of became the same. Not that that Green Dog was much different, but I just like the quirkiness of the character, the throwing of the frisbee. Yeah, the hitboxes and respawns were annoying and stupid, but so Green Dog for sure, my rent, and then burn for sure, Garfield.
Attaboy. Yeah, I'm gonna fall in line. I thought Bonanza Bros was a really cool concept. Like I said, I played it wrong. I tried to play it more aggressively than I should have, but I think sinking more time and being patient, I liked what it had to offer. I liked the art style, the pseudo 3D. Like I said, it reminded me a lot of like a souped up Keystone Capers, which I loved in the 2600. So I'm buying that. I think both the other two are about the same, but I had more fun playing Green Dog. Green Dog felt like a poor man's Pitfall, which we played last time. I there's just a little bit more there for me, and the Garfield stuff just felt shallow, and the level design felt bad. Plus, it's Garfield, so I mean, while these games are kind of even keel, I'm always gonna burn that stupid fat cat. So, torching him. Yep.
There wasn't enough
See?
of Garfield's friends to save it.
I don't know if that would have helped. Well, another Byron burn in the books. Okay, let's move on past Byron Burn. Get into what we've been gaming, watching, what's happening in the news. A little bit of a nugget of news from Nintendo. We haven't had a direct in a while, but they kind of came out this week and said we're going to add some more games to the good old NES and Super NES on your Switch that you're paying money for. And, we're going to go for some classic deep cuts. You guys all remember Eliminator Boat Duel? No? You're getting it. You remember how we already gave you a tennis game? Well, you're getting another one for the Super Nintendo. Enjoy that for $30 a year or $9.99, I guess, if you're a single family. Why? Why are they doing this to us?
I feel like they're using the same process that we use to pick buy, rent, burn games.
I've never heard of this one. Let's try it.
I don't know. The Twin Bee game I'll play. That one's fun.
Yeah, Poppin' Twin Bee. Yep.
The other ones are like,
what was the other one? Shadow Masters or Ninja Shadows?
Oh, Shadow the Ninja. That one's good for NES. Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be all right.
But another tennis game? There's already a tennis game on there.
Yeah. And I don't know anybody who's ever been like, Eliminator Boat Duel is awesome. like it's a game. I don't need it.
Do you think there's a large population of people actually playing the NES and SNES on the Switch? For me, it's a hard concept because I have a lot of these games and I don't know. I just don't play my Switch for that.
I think
I don't even think about it.
I think there are a handful of first-party titles that people play regularly, but yeah, I don't think it's been the home run that it could and should be. I mean, I'll always, if I'm bored and don't want to know what I want to play and I've got my Switch in my hands, I'll usually do like a Super Mario Brothers 3, or I'll race a little Mario Kart if I'm just, in between things. But
Sure.
yeah, I don't think I don't think so. Nobody talks about it anymore. Everybody was excited about it, and then they stopped the monthly games, and then they're kind of doing every other month, but they're not really giving us anything that anyone wants. I don't get it.
Well, actually, on Twitter today, I thought that was funny. You get those couple of people that just oversell everything, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe Shadow of the Ninja," and they're like showing their complete in-box copy on Twitter. Like, well, you can play it. It's not like you haven't been able to play it, and all of a sudden, yeah, this is this amazing moment, and so they blow them up all the time, which doesn't make any sense.
I mean, that one's probably a cool one for like the new generation who has the Switch and had never had an NES and had no idea what that game is. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
No first party. Like, what are they doing?
Right.
The games that are free for them, just
Eliminator Bojo isn't Rare, is it? Or is it?
no, I don't think so. That's Cobra Triangle is their boat game.
There you go. That's what I'm thinking of. Yep. Kind of the same.
Essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, they could give us a little more bang for our buck at this point with the Switch Online, because it's certainly not worth the online portion. At least give me a game library that justifies it.
I never got into the
I'll agree
Tetris.
with that.
The
Tetris 99?
Yeah, never.
Yeah, I guess I kind of fell off that too. I played the first few games and I was just like, this is fine, but I don't care enough to keep playing. I did pick up, because I had like a reward certificate to Best Buy, Monkey Ball HD for the Switch. It was down to like $29, so I got it for 25. Just kind of on a whim. I don't know. I just felt like playing some Monkey Ball, and it's not even like the best Monkey Ball game. It's probably the worst. Maybe a Monkey Ball Adventure is, but I don't know. It's still a solid enough Monkey Ball game. So my son and I were tag teaming levels, playing every other one. I forgot that one had bosses for some reason.
How does that work?
Completely unnecessary, but
how does that work?
You just do different things, like hit them on the head or bounce bombs back at them.
Huh, okay.
It's kind of pointless. It plays well, though. I don't hate it. It's better than using the Wii motion controls. And it came with stickers.
Oh, well then, yeah.
Yeah.
Are they bananas?
No, it's I and the like big muscly monkey. I don't know his name. I only know I.
Donkey Kong.
Wrong game, man.
Oh, okay.
They should have done that, though. It's a good call, man. They could have done a crossover. That would have been cool.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
It's a good casual game, though, for like $30 or less. Like it's fun to throw in the Switch now and then.
I in Donkey Kong at the X Games.
That needs to happen. Yes. Monkey Extreme games. The poo flinging contest is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Could I take a moment to talk about
No.
the coronavirus?
Sure, let's get into a somber mood and really.
All right, everyone. No, actually, I thought this was interesting, and I wanted to bring this up last time. So there's a simulator, like a virus simulator game, Plague Inc. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that or have ever experienced the game. I have not, but I thought it was interesting that it was in the news and in mainstream news as well, that the game developers are warning everyone that it's just a game, and the sales, I mean, to bring it back, the sales have increased in China for this game, which is really, really interesting that they're trying to understand like how this epidemic would work by playing Plague Inc., which doesn't make any sense. But the developers are warning that it's just a game. They don't want to give people ideas of how to spread disease or anything like that. I just think that's funny that companies are now having to put warnings out that a game is just a game, not a real thing.
Well, I also think they were saying, like, not that, well, this probably plays into that China bit somewhat, is that they were saying that gaming has just gone off the charts in China because of the widespread coronavirus, and people are just secluding themselves in their homes and gaming. So
let's play a plagued game about everyone dying.
Right. Let's get out there
God.
and live reality in my apartment.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
Have you guys ever played the game?
No.
I want to say there was like a really old version that was like a browser game version of it, and I played that. I want to say.
So the premise is you're trying to spread a virus faster than scientists can cure it. So you are trying to wipe out humanity, which is a very morbid style of game. And it's pretty bad that the developer has to warn everyone, like, don't get any ideas with this thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a strategy game, I guess.
Interesting.
So everyone that's listening to the podcast, don't do it. Okay? That's our public service announcement. Our PSA.
Please don't bring on the apocalypse or create human genocide. It's not great.
Yeah. Definitely not good.
So this is just a random thing that I saw on Twitter this week. I don't know if you guys have seen that game. I forget what it's called, like Siege or something weird, where it's like you build or Instruments of Death. I don't know. It's like some PC game where you just build random machines to like do castle raids and like catapults and stuff like that. And someone like just threw this random GIF on Twitter where somebody had built a machine, and it basically just it's like a 8-second GIF where this machine comes up. It's got 2 clap hands and it clasps like a group of 12 guys. And then you're like, okay, where's this going? And all of a sudden it flies up a Nazi symbol and then burns them all in the pit alive.
Oh my gosh.
Which is awful. And I laughed so hard.
Wow.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me that someone comes up with this crap. Ugh. Don't do that either, people.
Also, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's probably on
This
Steam
episode's
Workshop.
all about PSAs.
Yeah.
I feel like we just got to really reach our population.
Nazis are not cool.
Nor is the coronavirus.
No.
Although
It's not.
the makers of Corona are they capitalizing this with advertising?
They're like, how can we spin this in a positive way? Well, really, they can spin it because they say alcohol. Coronavirus can be killed by alcohol. So really, they have the medicine that these people need.
Just down
it's
in
already
Mexico.
Appropriately named. Yes. You can get past the cartels. You can cure
Do you
yourself.
think there has been moments that they're sitting in a boardroom with the marketing team and they're like, how can we do something with this? Everyone's pain and suffering. What could we do to spin it?
They're like,
too soon? Not too soon?
How can we pull all our advertising as quickly as possible?
Right. Want a coronavirus? I don't know. That's messed up.
That was their Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, that was their Super Bowl.
All these marketing teams are playing Plague Inc., trying to spread the Pepsi virus.
Oh my gosh.
It's good stuff.
Sick.
I have another thing that you shouldn't do.
Huh.
Let's play Dragon Quest Builders 2.
You've been playing that?
Yeah, I picked it up on the half-off sale. Surprised it was
Okay.
still there by the time I got to the PS4 section. But I was told, because I played the first one, I like the idea of Dragon Quest Minecraft. Seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
But the problem is you would build up like a certain area and you do all these missions, and then you would finish the level and you'd have to start over somewhere else. So it's like, that kind of defeats the purpose of the building stuff, because you always want to keep the base level, you know? And I was told that this is this fix that you were always going to build toward one thing. And something it's kind of like that. You start out on an island, but then you go to this other island and then you do the same thing. You build it up, and then finally a boss comes and you beat the boss, and then some of the guys from that island come back to your island. So
you maintain your community, but not all your hard work.
Right. So you lost everything that you built on an island. It stays there and it just hangs out. But
there's no like free play mode or like anything?
Not really. I mean, you have that main island where you are building stuff, with all your new people, but it just sucks that you kind of waste time on these other islands.
Yeah, that does suck. I remember you telling me about that too, because I'd played the demo of the first one, and it was a long demo. It was like 3 hours, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, yeah, I'll probably, buy that when it's cheap. And then you're like, oh no, you move on. Like all that stuff stays behind. I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. Yeah. That's dumb.
Yeah. Same thing. They did the same thing for the most part.
Huh.
Just sucks.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
How far did you get into it before you realized this?
I'm on the second island now, and it's more like a mining. You basically learning how to mine and, get gold and silver and all that stuff. And I'm just like, what's the point? As soon as
How many hours, though?
Probably 8 hours in.
Ugh.
So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. After that, I was kind of like, what's the point? You're just gonna lose everything that you're building toward.
Maybe they'll hear the outcries of their community and they'll redo it, though. I've heard that's the thing that developers are doing now.
Yeah, Anthem, right? Like they're
supposedly
gonna start over, hit the reset button. I don't know.
We hit a mulligan, guys. Let's try this again.
They probably have a completely different team of developers in there, because anybody who has worked at BioWare and was forced to make that game probably left. So this new team probably has better ideas. I don't know.
I just wonder, like, how much effort is that and how long will it take, and can you possibly get a community back? I mean, I guess No Man's Sky did it, so in theory it's possible.
Yeah. But No Man's Sky just made good on the idea that they had, where Anthem was like not a great idea.
The idea that we have sucks. Yeah.
It wasn't Destiny enough. I guess we have to make more Destiny. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know if Destiny knows what the hell it's doing anymore either. It sounds kind of, since that switched to free to play, I don't know.
Yeah.
People have been falling off.
Is this supposed to be free to play then? I mean, I don't.
Anthem?
Yeah, I can't imagine them coming out and charging a boatload of money again.
No, they can't, especially with the whole like tier debacle. And if you buy this version on this platform, you get it this day. And then like you needed like a 6-week chart to know when the game was coming out.
Yep.
For you.
When the news just came out that they still had like the Christmas decorations up in there.
Really?
Yeah.
They just hadn't touched it. They're
Yeah.
like, no, we're leaving it. That's crazy. So speaking of another mess, E3 got another blow today. Jeff Keighley announced that he will not be attending E3 and headlining the event that he has done. I guess 25 years he's gone to E3, and this was the year he decided it didn't make sense to partake in what it has become. Which I kind of have to imagine he's sort of turned the Game Awards into E3, so he probably feels less inclined to do this.
Yeah, that's like, he kind of has a conflict of interest on that, right? Because
yeah,
like if he kicks, he tries to kick E3 down the curb, like he benefits from it.
Oh,
his
for sure.
His own show benefits from it. But
I mean, it's theoretical that they would have had more world exclusives at the Game Awards this year than E3 will have.
Yeah.
The show itself. I mean, there will be news coming out around it, but not main stage at E3.
Yeah. It's going to be weird though, because he was the one that was like making the main, like the E3 show that you watched. So like, I don't know. It's going to be all these other outlets just kind of piecing it, the the news together of the show.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, it's definitely kind of further confirmation that what E3 was is. I mean, it's gonna have to be a different show. It's not an industry show anymore. It'll probably become a fan service show, which is just a convention at that point, I guess, or a PAX.
Just to wait in line and play a game maybe a month or two early.
Yeah, maybe the new Anthem build will be there. Hot news.
It doesn't even intrigue me to go to that. Like, there's nothing that excites me about the potential to even go. To me, it's dead, and everyone still argues that it's so busy. Still look at the line. It doesn't matter. It's dead.
Yeah, it's busy and there's lines because they're selling consumer tickets, not because the industry people are packing it in. You know,
right?
What I mean? Like, I agree. When they first did that public year and it was still more or less what E3 had been, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be sweet. Like, sometime I'm gonna have to go check that out. And now I'm like, I don't want to deal with the BS of LAX and all those people and the heat and like, fuck that. It's not a thing for breaking news anymore, which was the cool part about it. And world exclusives and sneak peeks. It's almost no different than any of the cons that we already go to.
Yeah.
That are intended to cater to us. Whereas E3 still is kind of not figured that out. They'll have to, or die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wonder how many, like, it used to be like Walmart executives, or, the Walmart buyers would be there and they'd have meetings and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
I wonder if that even happens anymore.
I don't think that happens in most industries in general anymore. That's just not how buying takes place,
Yeah.
You look at, so North Dakota, we had this big thing called the Winter Show, and it was like a big, like, industry expo that ran for 2 weeks straight and in the States. And like, yeah, every business in like a multi-state area and certainly within the state was there to have those meetings and do that stuff. And then it shrunk down to like a 4-day thing, maybe 3 days. I mean, it's not even, and that's just because the business doesn't take place there. It's not.
Oh, it's an excuse to have a country concert.
That's all it is now is a concert and a rodeo. Yeah.
Yeah. So that just gives you more time to stay home and get your VR out and play some games, like
what kind of
Prince
games?
of Persia on the VR.
Am I going to be jumping on my walls?
He could be jumping at the walls and throwing up. I think this is really interesting. That Prince of Persia, there was an announcement that they were going to be coming out on the VR. I don't know when and what VR they're going to be out, but
so they haven't. You didn't see platform if it was PlayStation?
No, I did not. What I think is interesting though is that this has been around. This franchise has been around since 1989 or so, and so for that long they've been putting out games. I think they've put out 13 different games up until this point. The last one was 2018. And
18, which one was that?
Yeah, that's the Prince of Persia Escape.
I think it's Escape, but
Escape.
Yes.
Escape.
Yeah, I had not heard of that one.
Yeah, so it was well, you haven't heard of it because it was iOS and Android.
Oh, okay. One of those
runner game, which doesn't really count, but it's still part of the franchise. But
so was the last one before that the one on the 360 then? Must have been.
That was the Shadow and the Flame remake in 2013.
Okay.
Huh. We have walking Wikipedia, Prince of Persia here.
It's Prince of Persia. Gotta love it. No, it's just such a, to me it seems very odd that they would bring it out as a VR game, because everyone's going to blow their chunks. I don't picture that going well at all. And two, it's Prince of Persia. I think it's like Atari. They just keep on trying to get something to stick. I've never met a diehard Prince of Persia fan that's like, I can't believe they're coming out with another Prince of Persia. 99% of the people won't even know this VR exists.
Yeah, I mean, I think that game was held in pretty high regard in the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox era. I mean, it had a run of 3 games on there that were revolutionary. At least the first one. I mean, it was big. It was like Assassin's Creed big when that was the shit.
But I think Assassin's Creed was like the next evolution of that.
Right.
You know.
I think they traded those franchises out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I could see some people being excited, but yeah, the proposition of playing that in a first-person mode just makes me want to throw up thinking about it, let alone playing it.
Just a very odd choice.
Yeah.
Well, they made a big budget movie. Remember that?
Well, sadly, yeah.
It wasn't a very good movie, but like
no, it had Jake Gyllenhaal.
that was surprising even then. Like even when it was a bigger game franchise.
Yeah. That was probably the least offensive video game movie. One of them. It's actually an okay movie.
Never seen it.
I think it was it Disney?
I think so.
Yeah. It's fine. It's not great.
It's probably not on Disney Plus. Huh.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue. So speaking of Disney Plus, they've been putting out some original content, and they just had this kids movie drop last week called Timothy Failure Mistakes Were Made. And it's this live action movie with this little kid who runs a detective agency in his mind, and he's got an imaginary polar bear friend. And I don't know. I think you guys should watch it with your kids. It's pretty entertaining. Like I kept arguing the whole movie with my children because they swore the polar bear was real and he was there and people were seeing him. I'm like, no, it's in his imagination. Don't you think people would be screaming at him walking down the street with the polar bear? This doesn't make sense. But what I loved about it was just kind of like the quirkiness and that it's set in Portland, and they fully embrace that it's Portland and it's weird. Like the whole thing's about that, but I just died because the running joke is like as the kid sets up the movie, he's talking about Portland. He's like, it's a great city except for one problem. And then they pan to like a food truck like area, which you see in Portland a lot. And it's like somebody making like a Russian guy making knishes with a big beard. He's like, the Russians. So then every time like a 20-something hipster with a beard and a mustache comes by, he thinks they're all like Russian spies, like plotting against
hilarious.
him. So it's just like the running joke through this whole movie, and I just laughed so hard at it.
That's pretty
I
funny.
thought it was going to be something worse with like panning into homelessness and drug
No.
use, marijuana.
No. It's a quirky movie. It's not great, but it's pretty good. Like if you're already paying for the service and you got kids, it's worth a watch. I enjoyed it, but the whole,
I almost
like,
broke
Russian
down
hipsters-
and got Disney Plus or things like that, but I still haven't pulled the trigger.
You know, it's
Still
cheap,
holding
and
it.
you get all those great cartoons when we were kids, man.
I know. I know. Then
It's
I
worth
can
it just
watch
for
that.
I'm almost
That
all the way
movie?
through X-Men.
Are you the series?
Mhm.
Wow, good job. I still haven't bit that off. I want to start with Gargoyles, I think. But that's a shorter run.
We watched that live action Aladdin. They just added that.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Why would you shit on your childhood like that?
I can't believe somebody has
It's a whole new world.
like if you're a professional actor and you have the balls to say like, oh, I could do a Robin Williams. I could do that, and it's definitely the weakest part. He's the biggest star and he's the weakest part of the movie. Everything else was actually not so bad. But
Yeah.
and they actually
I'm
changed
so sick of those.
they actually changed the story enough that it's not exact ripoff of the cartoon, but it's not great.
Yeah.
What's the latest
I refuse.
live action Disney movie? I saw it over the
Lion
Super Bowl
King.
commercial.
No, they did Lady and the Tramp now.
Yes,
Oh,
Lady
that was
and the
just
Tramp.
for Disney Plus, though,
Yeah.
and I haven't watched that.
I
Yeah,
feel like there was one more recently that they were putting out. And
Beauty and the Beast came out first. Can't think of anything.
I think
else.
Mulan is
It
out
was-
this year, maybe.
yes, that was
that
the one.
might be it. Yeah.
Mulan.
But that-
I'm like, what?
There was a Super Bowl one commercial of that, and it just looked like a war, like action film instead of like
Right.
Mulan.
It's just some guy live streaming Odama from the GameCube.
Yeah, there's no dragon, there's no nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to quit doing that. And I get that they're doing it to like keep their IP like under wraps, but maybe don't. Maybe just do a mini series or I don't like it. There's something beautiful about well done Disney animation that you just cannot capture with CG and live animation. Like you said, like the biggest sin is trying to outdo Robin Williams. Like just that's not a role that you can recapture.
No, Will Smith tried.
No, he didn't.
Did he try like different accents and everything?
Not really.
'Cause, you know, like the genie, that's kind of his thing. He
Yeah.
was just over the top.
Like even him as a singer is not very good. Like the songs that he sung in that, he's a bad singer too.
So
That's
it
how he
kind of
started
came
his
across
career.
as
Yeah.
Shazam.
Yeah, he's the second best rapping genie. Shaq is much better.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if we talked about this, but my family and I, we went back to Shazam, and it wasn't good.
What do you mean you went back to Shazam?
I feel like as a kid, I was like, okay, this is not so bad. You know, when Shaq is the genie.
Oh, I was getting that confused with another movie, Kazam.
Maybe
yes.
is it Kazam? Is it Shazam or Kazam?
Well, I don't know which one just came out. No, I think it's Shazam.
I think the Shaq one is Kazam.
Because there you go.
Kazam. Okay.
The Shazam's a newer movie. I was like, I don't remember a genie, but
No, Kazam. Yeah, we went back, and I was like, oh, I think this was a pretty good one as a kid. And just the first 10 minutes, I was like, all right, I think we're done here. Let's shut this off and let's just find something else to do. It's not good.
it's not aged well, huh?
No. No.
What was that one superhero one he did where he was like basically like the Superman spinoff?
Oh, Steel?
There you
Yeah.
go. Yep.
Shaq was in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Oh, I
like the
didn't know
star.
about that one.
I don't think most people remember that one. Other than
They try to
Shaq.
forget it.
Yeah.
That disturbing.
Yeah, I don't think he did well.
Ugh.
Speaking of movies, this will come out after the fact. But we're right on the verge of Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie releasing.
Yes, we are.
2 days away.
2 days.
Guess who pre-bought his tickets last Saturday?
Because it's going to sell out.
This guy. I don't know. I was just like, it'll be a fun Valentine's thing. So I got tickets at the Ultra Screen. Which, can I
Yeah.
just point out, like when you don't take like the time to just do a matinee or the $5 movie night, how insane it is to go to the... I have
How
two
much is it?
children and me and my wife, and it was with fees because you got to pay processing fees to book it online. $70. I'm paying $70
Whoa.
just to see this movie, and that doesn't include the $40 I'm going to pay on like
$70.
popcorn and like Slurpees.
That is insane.
My gosh.
Yeah,
I haven't. The last movie that I went to in theaters, I'm pretty sure was RV 2003.
wow,
I think there,
that's quite the stretch.
Wow.
I think there's been an increase in ticket prices.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I am going to the Ultra Screen, so that might be an upcharge. But you seriously have not been into a movie theater since then?
I'm trying to think if I've been to
I mean,
a
do
movie.
you realize how drastically movie theaters have changed since you've gotten, like, you understand now that when you
Yeah.
go, they're like full leather recliners that like recline and go all the way back and are huge. And it's a premium experience now. It's still not
I mean,
worth what I'm paying.
That
I like
that hasn't
RV.
been
That
there.
was good on screen.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Robin Williams right there. There you
Robin
go.
Williams. There it is. Yeah, I have to go back. I'm pretty sure that's the last movie.
Man, I need to like take you on a movie night, man.
I'm not a big movie guy. There's this thing about just sitting in chairs that everyone's been sitting in, and I feel I have this germ thing most people know
Yeah.
or don't know that. And as a kid, and this is going to go down a rabbit hole, but if you guys just hang with me a
I'll
little
embrace
bit.
it. Let's go.
As a kid, I read an article that there were some crazy people with HIV
AIDS
needles.
Yes, we all heard this
and they were
horror
poking
story.
through the seats.
Right.
And so ever
this didn't
since
happen
then,
now.
I know, but I still
It's like
check,
the dick in the
check
popcorn
the seat.
thing. It doesn't really happen.
Or the razor blade in the apples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I check my seat every time, and so I don't know. It's just
I did
my
go to
thing.
might have been just like hyper coincidental, but I did go to a movie theater once where this is prior to like all the hand, like it was an old school like paper towel dispenser. I was like in high school. It was the kind where you have to like hit the lever and like you push the button down and then it spits out the paper towel. But somebody had filed, because it's on a metal arm, had filed the top of that metal down to basically turn it into a blade.
Ah.
So that when you did it, if you rolled your hand off the plastic, it cut you, and it did that to me. That's a true story. I don't know if that was like really shitty manufacturing or just wear and tear, but it seems like
now?
I do have HIV. I didn't want to tell you
the
guys.
HIV?
I've been dealing with it. It was fine up until I got the coronavirus, but
oh gosh,
I don't have that Magic Jordan.
Oh my gosh,
not Magic Jordan.
Magic Jordan.
I don't have that Magic Johnson money. If I had Magic Jordan money, I'd be fine. I'd be saved.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sports. I love sports.
There's a kid out there named Magic Jordan for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
So way back in the day when I worked at Rent-A-Center, Magic Johnson was our spokesperson, and I literally had an old man coming off the street and yell at me. He's like, "Do you understand? He's not a good person, and probably he's got the AIDS." I'm like, "Okay, listen, sir. Like, I don't make the marketing campaign for this national chain. I appreciate your concerns. Thank you.
I'll send it to corporate."
let me get on the phone right now. You just hit one. Yeah, what's your point?
Have you thought?
Oh my gosh.
Have you thought that maybe he was just drying his hands in the wrong bathroom at the wrong time?
Oh my gosh, yes. Poor guy. Wasn't a scandal at all.
It all started with you.
Yeah, yeah, but I clearly remember the HIV needle thing, because I used to look at the seat all the time too. I'm like, oh, this is a thing. I can't.
But
it couldn't have been
never
true.
was a thing.
I don't think so. And this is like pre-internet days, right? Like you could say whatever you wanted and people would believe it.
But
now
I
you
was
can
the
say whatever
idiot
you want.
that would
Nobody
push down
believes
on
it.
the seat, like with my hands, which would stick me anyways.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. But I'm like, okay, we're good. I can sit down with my butt.
It's like an Evil Dead thing. If you lop off the limb soon enough, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Keeps the poison.
I remember a story that
deterred me.
A snake came up somebody's toilet one time. So when I was a
yeah.
kid, there was a good solid year that I was shitting standing up above the toilet. Because I wasn't. You're not going to sit on something in case a snake, a poisonous snake comes out of the toilet. You got to sit there and.
So wait,
giblets right there.
You're like standing straight up.
Yeah, so like I'm spreading my legs between the toilet and just letting it drop right in the.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have that luxury. I'd have been spraying it all over the wall. That reminds me of that story too, where like Burlington Coat Factory or something, where a lady bought like a coat and like stitched into it was like a venomous snake and it bit her in the neck.
Oh wow,
yeah, it's probably not true either. I mean, these are all
that's
great
100% true.
legends.
That was my cousin. It's a real thing.
That's what you get for buying a snake coat.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's what you get for going to Burlington Coat Factory, I feel like.
That's true.
Wow.
I love how we just went down these things as kids. Like, do you remember like HIV needles and snakes?
Speaking, and then there's the needles in the Coke cans. Remember that? That was a big thing too.
No, I never heard that.
That actually did kind of happen, but it was like the lady who
What?
bought it from the convenience store also put the needle into the Coke can. So like it was her setup.
Oh.
Wait.
And she was trying to sue
Explain.
Coke for a bunch of money.
So just a needle in the Coke.
Right. She put it in there. They found it evidence or she admitted it or something. But yeah, there was like a big scandal with Coke and
yeah.
that was a big thing. Speaking of another scandal, it was just one of the bullet points that I was going to put on there and talk about because I thought it was hilarious. It has nothing to do with gaming, but it has to do with our neck of the woods. So Target, I don't know if you guys got this news, screwed up. Target Most people know what Target is. Big national chain, competes with Walmart.
Target?
They're based out of Minneapolis, which is kind of in our neck of the woods, Minnesota, North Dakota. But anyway, they in Minneapolis put out a clothing line of sweatshirts that were labeled the Minnesota Badgers, featuring the golden M.
My gosh.
Which the Badgers are like one of their biggest rivals in Wisconsin. It's the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Yes.
So it caught on fire on social media. It's just hilarious.
They're probably
State.
I'm sure they're sponsors in some way of the University of Minnesota too.
Yeah.
And then they do something like that. Wow. That's amazing.
But yeah, it was apparently like a limited batch in like one store. Like I think they said they recalled all of them, but 2 were somehow sold. So you know that those 2 are like hitting eBay and are going to go
worth
for
millions.
But yeah, just not only to screw it up, but to screw on it with like your rival. It's awesome. In your home state and town.
Wow.
People in the marketing department, they don't watch anything. They're like, is this the, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the logo, right? A badger? Yep. That's it.
That's probably their Twitter profile right now, like the Golden Badger or something.
The Golden Badgers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then Wisconsin got a whole batch of, the Wisconsin Golden Gophers. Just messed everything up. Everyone's confused and pissed.
Luckily, everyone over there is still drunk, so they didn't realize that it's wrong
true.
yet. Sunday morning
It's
will be a
true.
realization. We love Wisconsin. We're just kidding.
Plus, they own the Gophers anyway in football, so they can say
That's
that the
true.
Gophers.
They can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, you gotta love corporate epic fails. It's funny.
Gotta go fast, gotta get down and do a little dash. You can't hold me down, you can't slow me down. Gotta go fast, gotta get up and do the dash. You can't hold me down, you can't slow me down. Cause I was born to run, I was born to run. You can't hold me down, not a little bit, and you can't slow me.
All right. To finish the show, hot on the heels of his new movie coming out, we got a special guest. He came in, contacted Weekend Rental Podcast, knew that, it was a good avenue for exposure for his movie. And we got Sonic the Hedgehog here. And
Hey guys, what's up?
oh, not a lot, Sonic. I'm really looking forward to your movie. And
I thought you got lost or something.
well, hey, we're a little bit late. Sometimes we can't go as fast as you all the time. But yeah, I am just glad to be here talking with you today.
Okie dokie.
So, Sonic, I'm just kind of wondering, what's it like to work with Jim Carrey?
I was on a snooze cruise, I guess.
God, that's harsh,
It
Sonic.
sounded,
He's a,
Sonic, it really sounded like you were busy with something else.
No way.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You
We'll try to
must
keep
be
this
kidding.
we'll just try to keep this as professional as possible. I just wanted to know, with the buzz of the movie and kind of having to, remodel your face a little bit and make the fans happier. Just wanted to know your thoughts on that, if you had any.
It smells like trash. It's getting cold.
The movie, okay.
What's the smell?
sorry, that was me, Sonic. Sorry.
Yeah, Ryan has a snake kit, so just be patient there.
You're right, pal.
All right, good. We're back on. Andy, what else do you have for Mr. Sonic?
So, I'm wondering, in your new movie, is any of your friends going to show up? If so, Eggman. Okay, yeah. Knuckles. Oh, yeah.
Amy.
Oh, yeah. Is there going to be a love interest with Amy? Like, is that kind of what the avenue that we're going with?
It must get pretty lonely here.
So no.
I guess not. That's going to be a bummer. I think a lot of your fan base is actually into the sexualization of the Sonic universe.
Now what's wrong?
Yeah, you don't have to tell me that. I know there's plenty wrong with that, but
Oh, it's you.
Harsh, Sonic. Wow.
You know,
The
Sonic.
one who sealed chaos in the Master Emerald.
Hey,
Yeah.
Sonic, have you been drinking a little bit?
Hey, there's no time to relax. Glad you
That's-
finally made it. Ready to roll,
Oh, man.
champ?
You're really,
What are you rolling?
You're really excited for this. I think he's doing meth.
Yeah, right, Dr. Eggman.
All right.
There's only one way you get to be that fast. So, are we talking sequels yet? Are we starting to shoot your second movie? And if so, when does Shadow
Oh,
the Hedgehog?
yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So, and when does Shadow the Hedgehog show up?
What was that all about?
Oh, I just want to see a
We were
little more
wondering
better
the
get
same
outta
thing.
here.
Well,
See you later,
Well,
Tails.
well, Tails isn't even here. Come on, man. Is that who you're rolling blunts with over there?
Oh, no. Wait.
I think we're all really confused at what's happening here with you, Sonic. I know your celebrity status. You have a movie coming out, and you got a lot going on. So we do appreciate you just taking the time to talk with us a little bit. Can you just share with us what inspired you to be part of this movie?
Tornado.
A tornado.
Oh, so like the Sharknado movies. That definitely makes a lot more sense of why this movie exists now.
Yeah.
That was the cleanest answer we've ever gotten out of you this whole time. Really appreciate you
Okey-dokey.
calming down. Okay.
I think he's actually becoming lucid here for our interview. This is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. How fast do you really go?
No need to explain. We'll get on it.
Okay.
What are you getting on?
Amy.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that as the world's biggest Sonic fan.
It must get pretty lonely here.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. I'm really interested in this conspiracy theory that Sonic, the restaurant, also serves your favorite food. It's kind of known for their chili dogs. Seems like a kind of a widespread conspiracy. Wondering if you have any comment on that.
I smell oil.
Oh, so you do know all about the Sonic restaurant.
I'm not too fond of places like this.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. They must not have met your sponsorship agreement price, but
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So Sonic, out of all your friends, I think Knuckles is my favorite. I'm wondering if he's going to be in the movie or maybe he's here. Can I talk to Knuckles?
All right.
Well,
Oh,
that's
Yahoo!
that sounds like an evil Italian version of Knuckles, maybe.
Wonderful.
Okay, so I get where you're going. You couldn't get the real Knuckles. You had to go for a second-rate Mario character. But
Oh, yeah.
I guess Wario will have to do.
Wario, welcome to the show, Weekend Rental Podcast.
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, all right, excited, love it, love the energy.
How's it feel to be in a movie that is the antithesis of not going fast?
Wonderful.
Ryan, what are you doing?
Huh?
I just heard you kind of shit your pants. I'm wondering why you would do that in
Oh.
front of our guests,
I
Sonic and
figured it was
Wario.
okay with him.
I mean, maybe Wario is kind of an
Have a
enthusiast.
rotten day.
He is an enthusiast, isn't he?
Very much so.
Excellent.
You've got a lot of one-liners there, Wario. I'm wondering if I could hear maybe a deeper story of your background, maybe.
Whee! Whee! Whee!
Oh, you've started a rap career. I see. That's impressive.
Hey, just keep going. You'll have DJ Khalid pretty soon.
He's so aggressive. So aggressive.
That's the Italian, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
Nice. Those are some sick beats. I don't know. Maybe this interview's gone on too long. Sonic already left. I think he went to get a chili dog.
At Sonic?
At Sonic.
Mm.
All right. Well, Mario, you should probably get the hell out of here too. Thanks for stopping by.
Have a rotten day.
Yeah, you too.
That's appropriate.
Okay, buddy. Thanks. Thanks for hanging out. Whew, that was uncomfortable. That was extremely uncomfortable.
It's it's one of those things when you feel like you don't know how you're going to act when you meet your childhood heroes, but
yeah,
we were stunned.
they're never what you
Stunned.
expect. To rag
Yeah.
on Jim Carrey like that, it's
oof.
harsh.
Yeah.
But I'm glad, like you said, and Andy, at least we did confirm that he is riding Amy. It's not just the fan fiction, so
Yeah.
it's important.
It was good to know,
Mhm.
for sure.
And I mean, since we're all out of people to interview, I suppose we just end the podcast.
I mean, you got to end it on a high note. How many other podcasts have had Sonic
And
on their
Wario.
show?
Yeah.
And Wario. I mean, that's two franchises, just enemies. It's amazing. Very cool. Little Sega Nintendo thing. Very cool to be part
It
of.
is Olympic time right now, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's when everybody
truce
does
is
come
called.
together.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, if that made you as uncomfortable as it made me, we would love to hear from you. You can send it to us, weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to, if you have any suggestions or questions, pictures, things like that, we would love to hear from you. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media as well, on Twitter and on YouTube. And you can find all things Weekend Rental at weekendpodcast.com. And as always, be kind, rewind.
Go Badgers.
Sonic's favorite movie is Chasing Amy.
Oh, bananas.